Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Born and dead, saved by love, count my blessings from above. Though in darkness, have no fear. Light will shine on those holding near. They know that sorrow they will pass. For I know in this life there will be something. But remember that love, yes it will. Love will reign. Yeah. Love will reign. Yeah. In my heart, I believe it. Love will reign. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Have a vision. It's clear and plain. People live and laugh
Love will reign. I'm so excited that you are here. And I hope that you will click share and tag some folks to join us. I'm Marcus Holmes with another edition of Love and Stuff. And listen, I am always excited to be here with you on Tuesday. And so, whether you're watching live on Facebook, whether you're watching on Twitch TV, on YouTube events, on um, Twitter, or if you are on Instagram tonight, I hope that you will chime in and share in this topic. You know, we're coming into the fall season, right? And people are falling in love, falling out of love, getting in cuddle time. And I thought I'd go back to the inbox before we get back on this journey toward election. We have three more parts in the series that are to come up. But I wanted to come back to this discussion about love in the inbox. You know, our thoughts are about love, the quintessential love, which is God, that He's commanded us to love Him with everything we've got. I'm paraphrasing, and then to love our neighbors as ourselves. And so all of our relationships should be an outpouring of this vertical love, right? And so I wanted to share, as we often do from the inbox, another topic. And I am the love activist. So I have to give the disclaimer, I'm not a relationship therapist, or do I proffer or offer that I am. I'm the love activist. And what I do is I get to the chance to talk to many different types of couples that are having success in their marriage, and some that may not be having as much success, some that are together for 2 months, and some that are together for 50 years. And I synthesize that information to help others that are on their journey to love. And it's not just those relationships, but it could be you need to improve the relationship with your sibling, with your children, with your friends. Whatever relationship, you and I should take stock, take inventory of that relationship, and seek to up our love game so that we're giving our best to relationships and showing up as our best for others that we are in relationship with. And so I'm so grateful that you're here. Bilal Muhammad Walker is here, and I hope his lovely wife is here. Maybe we can ask them some quick questions as well. But I'm going to the inbox, and an interesting topic from the inbox. We're going to get right into it in one moment. I've pinned the topic, and I hope I'm not seeing it populate across platforms, so I may have to pin it across different platforms. So bear patient with me in doing that. But just before we read that topic, I hope that if you're watching us on Instagram, if you're watching us on LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, if you're watching us on Twitch TV or YouTube events, or here on Facebook from which we're emanating, that you'll take a moment and click share. Tag 5 people who you know are in relationship, are trying to get out of relationship, are wanting to get into a relationship. Tag 5 of the more popular people around and in your circle of influence to join in this discussion, because we want to hear from them and from you in the comments. And so we're going right into this topic, and I'm going to try to pin it across areas as I go. This inbox topic comes from a woman who says, "So here I am, 43 years old, married to my husband who who is 10 years younger than me." Okay? We've been doing this for 8 years now, meaning they've been married for 8 years, raising 2 kids, juggling jobs, side hustles, and everything else life throws at us. For the most part, she goes on, we've had a strong connection, especially in the bedroom. But lately, I've been noticing something different. It's not that the sex isn't good when we get the chance, it's still great. But he doesn't seem to want it like he used to. I'm always the one making the first move now. And while he's never turned me down, it feels like his desire for me is slowing down. I missed when he used to be the one that couldn't wait to get things started. Now, between the kids, work, and life in general, we're not spending the same kind of time together, and I'm starting to feel the distance. I don't want this to be one of those situations where we let life get in the way and drift apart. We're still young, and I want to make sure we're staying connected both emotionally and physically. So now I'm thinking about how to bring that fire back, how to make sure we're not just coasting through this marriage, but actually thriving in it. All right, sir, Bilal, just me. What's up, Love and Stuff family? What's up, Bilal? Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. Click share and tag someone to join us. All right. So I'm going to make sure I can pin that topic. I thought I pinned it on a couple of places. It doesn't look like it's pinning everywhere. I'm going to try to fix that best I can. And hello to you that are on Instagram. I will only know that you're here on Instagram if you drop comments. So it does have you listed for me to be able to see your comments, but you got to drop them. All right. So join us in the comments. And I want to hear from you. What do you think about the situation? You know, when I first saw this, there were so many different thoughts that came to my mind as I go through my mind, the file in my mind, the computer in my mind, and open files of discussions that I've had with people as to many different factors that factor in when there's an age difference and you have the same expectation of the same libido, because that changes. When there are things that could factor in, like erectile dysfunction type of things could factor in. I asked that question. She said that's definitely not a part of it. And then I asked some other things. What in the relationship maybe has changed? Because sometimes we are not as hyper focused on the changes that happen, because sometimes they're subtle and they happen over time. So one of the things I asked her before I delve into some of the language I think that's important from Gary Chapman's languages of love and relationship science, I asked her about whether or not she has changed. And she said, well, what does that mean? I said, have you changed? Have you changed physically? Sometimes we gain weight or lose weight. Sometimes we stop taking care of ourselves, our hygiene. And so I asked her, when you initiate, is there a difference in when you initiate than before when he initiated? And she said, well, one of the things she admitted to was that when she initiates, chances are she has gone the extra mile to beautify herself. She's gone the extra mile to wear that sexy outfit. She's gone the extra mile to get his attention. And so my first question to her was, well, could it be that you've stopped going the extra mile, and so he isn't as thrilled, as aroused, as excited to initiate? And that the times that you initiate is when you're all dialed up. It's when you're smelling good. It's when you have the nightie on. It's when you have all of the extra things that he loves. And that was something that really resonated with her. And I thought it would be worth sharing with those of you that are in relationship, especially those that are in marriage, man of faith. You're in relationship and there is some things changing. Most times there's movement happening all the time. It's just very subtle, right? So you don't notice that there are appetite changes, right? Or there are frequency changes, or there are temperament changes. 9 times out of 10, unless there is some event that kind of undergirds those things are subtle. And so you have to be mindful, right? That the same types of things that you've done over time, you could lose the discipline or care or custody or facility to do those same types of things. The dialing yourself up, the spraying his favorite perfume, or lady or fellas, her favorite cologne, bringing her flowers, or making sure the kitchen is clean before you go to the bedroom. All of these little things that might seem insignificant could be pretty significant. So as we're talking from the inbox, from this inbox conversation, I wanted to bring that out because that was one of the things that she said in talking to her and asking her questions. She said, well, you're right. When I initiate, then I'm in a different frame of mind. So I wanted to ask you the same thing, those of you that are married or are in relationships. If you've noticed a difference, an ebb and flow in how your partner initiates intimacy, initiates emotional or physical intimacy? Are you presenting differently? And does that factor into any of that change? Because sometimes it could factor in, depending, right? It could factor in on how the person that's with you responds to you, right? And so in this case, she was thinking, I'm 43 and he's 33. I'm getting older and maybe he's becoming less attractive to me. And that could be. It could be that the age difference shows up differently when people are at different ages. Okay, so they're 43 and 33, which means that they were 35 and 25 when they got married. So think about where you were at 25. If you want to drop that in the comments, I'd love to hear it. And how you might have shown up differently when you're 25 than when you're 35. Or ladies, 35 than when you're 45. Your thoughts, your needs, your desires may shift and change. And you have to have the communication around that, right? Because you are changing, you are evolving. And most of us are changing, not drastically, though there are people who have metamorphosis, right? There are people who have drastic changes, but most of us change just a little bit over time, a little bit of something, or a little bit less patient, or a little more, a little bit less kind, or maybe more, a little bit less affectionate, or maybe more. And there are different factors, different variables that factor into that, right? And so you have to consider those, as I would say, for this topic for you to consider. So, again, from the topic, so here I am, she says, 43 years old, married to my husband, who's 10 years younger than me. We've been doing this for 8 years now, raising two kids, juggling jobs, side hustles, and everything else life throws at us. For the most part, we've had a strong connection, especially in the bedroom, she says. But lately, I've been noticing something different. It's not that the sex isn't good. When we get the chance, it's still great. But he doesn't seem to want it like he used to. I've always I'm always the one making the first move now. And while he's never turned me down, which is a good sign, it feels like his desire for me is slowing down. I miss when he used to be the one that couldn't wait to get things going. I'm trying to scroll down, get things started, excuse me. Now, between the kids, work, and life in general, we're not spending the same kind of time together. And I'm starting to feel that distance, she writes. I don't want to be one of those situations where we let life get in the way and drift apart. We're still young, and I want to make sure we're staying connected both emotionally and physically. So now I'm thinking about how to bring that fire back, how to make sure we're not just coasting through this marriage, but actually thriving in it. So I want to hear from you because there are I see Lester Hugh here. I see Juanita Patrick, who was married for many years and recently a widow. I want to hear from you because I like to synthesize that information. And of course, I love for the person who put this in the inbox in anonymity to come back and watch the show and glean from it. And that's a part of what we love in the Love and Stuff community. Your topic, your situation doesn't have to be public. You can share it here. We will maintain your anonymity and we will share the topic and allow you to hear very different perspectives. And generally, they are very different perspectives, but you get to glean from those perspectives and take the information and hopefully make an informed decision about how you can up your love game. So while I seek to post this across the platforms and ask you to click share, I want to take a quick break and invite you to hear from one of our partners, a longtime partner, Christina, um, the money coach from Powerful Money Tools, LLC.
Welcome to Powerful Money Tools LLC. At Powerful Money Tools, we are here to prepare for your future. We want to talk about financial freedom. Financial freedom is budgeting, credit building, and also financial education. So, once again, welcome to Powerful Money Tools LLC. We can't wait to help you in your financial future.
And thank you, Christine. The Powerful Money Tools LLC has been helping men and women get back on the financial track that they need to get on. And if you're a person who wants to get your financial house in order, Christina will help you with your credit. She will help you with investing. She will help you with saving. She will help you with budgeting. And she's helped a number of people in and around the Love and Stuff community who are now on improved plans for financial health, freedom, and their future looks bright. If that's you, reach out to Powerful Money Tools LLC. As Christina said, they can't wait to help you in your financial future. Well, we're talking tonight from the inbox from a couple, well, from the female of the couple who is saying that she's concerned that the relationship appears to be slowing down. Now, I think she has to give herself some grace, and I would tell you to give yourself some grace. That if you are in a relationship and you have kids, even one kid or children, some people don't like the word kid. Kids, I grew up hearing that. You have kids, more than one. You have jobs, both of you work outside the home, and you have side businesses, which we are finding more and more people are taking on side businesses, extra businesses to make ends meet and to accomplish their dreams and goals, right? The time that you have is going to be of the utmost importance. The quality of the time that you spend with your spouse, your partner, your husband, your wife, your significant other is going to be of utmost importance because time is precious and you have only so much time in a day, right? So you're going to have to set aside some time in your day to do that, right? And we often here talk a lot about one of our favorite works that we point to is Gary Chapman's work on his 5 languages of love, right? I think it's so important that people get this about this seminal, this important work around love languages, because you and I may expect for people to receive love in the same language that we speak, right? And I'll tell you those 5 love languages, and then you can drop in the comments which one is yours, your primary and secondary. People might have love languages across the board of languages that when spoken to you in these languages, it really resonates with you, right? And so it's important to lean in, and that is one of the important pieces, I think, to this puzzle among many pieces is understanding your partner's love language and understanding how that love language changes and could change over time. So there are 5 love languages, and they are acts of service, physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, and gifts. These are the 5 things that Gary Chapman offers are the 5 ways that people receive love. Speak, that's their language they speak in. Acts of service, physical touch, quality time. I'm trying to get my quality time, uh, words of affirmation, and gifts. Okay. So let's just say, if a person you marry starts out with physical touch as their language, meaning it's the language they want you to speak to them in. Ladies, if your husband loves to come up behind you while you're cooking, cleaning, or doing anything, he loves to come up behind you, pat you on the butt, kiss you on the neck, hold your hand, come sit on the couch with you, touch you. Physical touch might be his language, right? It might not be yours. But you've got to make sure that you reaffirm his language and pay attention to how his language may change over time. Really important for you to be able to do that. For me, and I want you to drop in the comments and tell me what your primary love language is. My primary love language used to be, number 1 used to be, it's now number 2, but number 1 used to be words of affirmation. If you love me, I need to hear that. If I look good, I want to hear it. If I smell good, I want to hear it. I need to hear those words of affirmation. Now, that's still very important to me. But as I have aged, what has become more important to me than that is quality time. I need your time. If we are in relationship, if we're friends, what I need your time. Your time is the most important thing to me. So you could give me a gift and that would be great. You could touch me on my neck. You could touch me wherever you want to touch me. And that might be great. But if you really want to get to my heart and resonate with me, give me your time. Now, I suspect for me, because I've experienced so much loss, both my parents, 3 of my 4 siblings, best friend, other best friend, other friends, I'm living a very different life where loss is always in front of me and I can't get back their time. So time is very important to me. And if you want to show me affection, give me your time. Yes, Nawana, thank you for joining. Click share and tag someone. So a younger version of me might have loved that stroking of the ego, because for me, that's what that is, saying, oh, you're wonderful. You're amazing. Oh, my goodness. You're so smart. You're so brilliant. You're so handsome. The younger me, that got me going. That was it fed my soul. It was the soul food to my heart, right? It was the way that you pulled the heartstring. But as I've gotten older, those words matter, but not as much as you showing me through your time. So when you're in relationship with someone, the first thing I believe that you need to do, and I'm saying to this woman in the couple, is you can use this part of Gary Chapman's love language to reaffirm his love language or your partner's love language, because you need to check in. So remember that thing you used to do around that love language. Now, if you never knew love languages and this is new to you, I invite you to go get Gary Chapman's book. I don't get a cut off of it. And if it goes very well, he's already sold millions of copies. I'm going to have to reach out to him and say, hey, I helped you out. But go get your book on whatever platform you get from reading and Audible and all of those great tools to get good reading. Get your book and learn about these 5 languages and there's a little test in there so you can see which one is really yours. But you need to also find that out for your partner. But if you already know your partner's love language and you know it is physical touch, and you notice that there's been a change in physical touch, you have to reaffirm it. And reaffirming is, hey, I noticed that you don't respond the way you used to physical touch. Can we talk about that sometime? Now, fellas might tell you, oh, this is the soft stuff. I don't always want to talk about that. But you know when and how, or you should, is the right time to talk to your spouse, your significant other. And it's an important conversation. Maybe it's not during the football game. Maybe it's not when he just came home and had the cold beer. It's at whatever time you can go and say, honey, I want to add something to the honey-do list, and it's just for me. And he's going to say, well, the whole honey-do list is for you, baby. Say, well, this is for me. I noticed you don't respond like you used to when I touch you. And you can start to quiz him, ask him those questions. And he might say, hey, I just love when you tell me, baby, I'm thankful for you. You're doing a great job. He's telling you that I'm ebbing and flowing, and now I need words of affirmation. I need to know I'm the king of this house, of your castle. I need to know I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. And if he starts to respond to that, reaffirm that by giving more of that love language. Thank you, Ari. I think mine has always been physical touch, but I know acts of service are becoming super important to me. Not the gift giving, but actually showing up for me and for real helping me. Love it. Love it. It's really important, right? Even your friends, right? You might have friends. You might just like, somebody to hug you, somebody to hold your hand. And now you're saying, no, I really need you to help me lift this heavy trunk and take it out when I'm going to go to my acting and doing improv. And if you haven't heard Aria, she's hilariously funny. So you need to go. And she's a measured actress, may I say. But I would imagine someone who's hanging out with Aria in acts of service, she might want you to help her take her props to the car. She might want to, after a long night, you to hey, rub her feet. She might want you to drive instead of her being able to drive home. Whatever the act of service is, I'm trying to speak. I'm a truth speaker. You're a phenomenal actress. And so you got to, number one, reaffirm their language of love. I'm hearing from Aria and I'm hearing from Nawana and Bilal. I want others to drop in the comments, and I'm just going to check across the comments. I apologize that the topic doesn't appear to have posted everywhere, just in some places. And welcome those of you that are coming in on Instagram. Okay. So if his love language, it was touch, or at least she believes it was touch, because up until now, he was always the one initiating emotional and physical intimacy. And there are so many things that's so nuanced that you have to get into the relationship with that individual to see. Because again, I mentioned there are sometimes men in their 30s whose libido drops in mid 30s. Could be happening to him, right? There could be some medical reason that could be happening to him, right? It could be that he's now thinking, you don't get that my love language is physical touch and you're always waiting for me to touch you. I need you to touch me. If his language is physical touch, he wants you to rub up against him when you're going past the refrigerator. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. That's his love language. And even if it is yours, you have to remember it's not just yours, it's his. You do have to initiate sometime. You do have to rub his head, come up behind him and kiss him on the ball game and say, it's halftime. How many minutes for halftime? You have to find a way to connect with him that reaffirms that his language is important to you too. Same fellas for ladies. Fellas, if your language is physical touch and hers is too, you got to touch her in the ways that are going to feed her heart some soul food, right? Okay. So you got to reaffirm the love language. Now, again, it's nuanced because there could be other factors. He could not be at peace. He could be unhappy on the job. There are a whole bunch of things that could be at play. That's why the reaffirmation is important, because it starts a communication, which is what we're always saying here, right? You're like, boy, you say that every week. Because communication, really, I'm going to say it this way. Your love without communication is starvation. You're starving the other person if you're not communicating to them what they mean, what you mean to them, what they mean to you, what your journey together means to your life, what it means to not be on par or on pace for where you want to go. You must be in communication with the person. And you start, I believe, in this case, where it seems things are not as quite as ignited as before, you start with reaffirming the love language. All right. I want you to click share and tag someone to join us and drop in the comments whether or not you think that makes sense. That you, in order to reignite, you got to reaffirm. Okay. Before you put something on fire, before you get it going, reaffirm. All right. We got another partner, and she's Detroit Coutures. Ladies, another way to ignite is to get all dialed up. And June Rochelle Eaton has a flair for fashion, and she helps women look amazing. Consider Detroit Couture.
Hi, my name is June Rochelle, and I own Detroit Couture. We are a fashion forward women's boutique, and we offer friendly sizes from small all the way up to 3X women's sizes, very generously fit, very great quality. I actually have on one of our pieces today. It's called the Cuffed Up. It's in gray, burgundy, and black and olive, and it actually has a lot of stretch and give. So listen, in this time, we try to make sure that first of all, it's quality and customer service that we offer our clients. And I'm so glad to have this opportunity to share with you. So go and visit us at DetroitCouture.com.
I'm telling you, Detroit Couture is a fantastic partner. And you definitely, ladies, if and fellas, if you want to get something special for your lady, you definitely want to go to Detroit Couture and see all of the amazing fashions that June Rochelle Eaton has. She's been a partner with the Love and Stuff community for a while. She is a powerful entrepreneur, and ladies, she will have you looking just amazing. And maybe physical touch will be reignited. You can reaffirm it in your relationship. We're talking from the inbox. And thank you, Nicole Baldwin, for joining us. I hope you will click, share, and tag someone. Here's the topic from the inbox in case you don't see it pinned on your favorite social channel, but we're grateful you're here from Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube events, Twitter. She says, so here I am, 43 years old, married to my husband who's 10 years younger than me. We've been doing this for 8 years now, raising 2 kids, juggling jobs, side hustles, and everything else life throws at us. For the most part, we've had a strong connection, especially in the bedroom. But lately, I've been noticing something different. It's not that the sex isn't great. When we get the chance, it's still great. But he doesn't seem to want it like he used to. I'm always the one making the first move. And while he never turns me down, it feels like his desire for me is slowing down. I miss when he used to be the one that couldn't wait to get things started. Now, between the kids, work, and life in general, we're not spending the same kind of time together, and I'm starting to feel that distance. I don't want this to be one of those situations where we let life get in the way and drift apart. We're still young, and I want to make sure we're staying connected both emotionally and physically. So now I'm thinking about how to bring that fire back, how to make sure we're not just coasting through this marriage, but actually thriving in it. And as we shared, a number of things could happen when there's an age gap. That could be part of it. It's nuanced. A number of things can happen with your health, your libido, with life that causes your desires to change. But we turned and are turning to the work of Gary Chapman, which I think is a seminal work. It's very important work for relationships and workplaces as well, but for relationships because it has you thinking about the love language of the other person. And we often forget that. We just want to be loved, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. God wants you to be loved. He wants you to first love him because he loves you. And he wants you to love yourself and love your neighbor then as you love yourself. So love is all over the equation of your life. It's all throughout the chapters that were written about you and for you. But in that love consideration, there has to be something that's reciprocal, somewhere where you give to someone what they need, what their language is in a way that resonates with them. And over time, that can change and evolve. And so we talked about reaffirming the love language of the person that you're with because it could change. So you have to check in with your spouse, with your partner, with your boo, with your babe, with your husband, with your wife to ensure that you're still on par with the love language that's resonating with them and not with you. And so it could be acts of service, quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, or gifts. And whichever one gets your partner going, you need to reaffirm it whenever things are slowing down. Oh, Nicole, I'm so sorry that it cut out. I hope mine didn't cut out. Okay. Number two, as I read in the description, this 43-year-old and 33-year-old couple have 2 kids over their 8 years together. So number two is do what? Prioritize time without the kids. That's right. Sometimes you got to do budget 101 where you take your 41% of your net. Christina will tell you this, and she'll have it said better than I would. You take 41% of your net, and that should cover all of your debt. Anything that you owe, mortgage, cars, insurance, all of that should be 41% or less. Okay? You take 20% of your savings of that net for savings, right? and you have to set aside some amount in your rainy day fund, maybe 5%. Now you need to add a little 2.5% for babysitting. And if you don't have a nana, grandma, grandtee, auntie, big T, big daddy, little sister, someone to babysit, invest in researching a good babysitter, a good sitter, because if you may have not babies, a good sitter so that you can have time away. Time away doesn't necessarily mean you're going to Ecuador, even though I don't know if that's the place people would travel. If you're going to Dubai, you're going to Cabo, wherever you're going. No, it doesn't have to be that far. It could be an Airbnb in your locale. It could be a 30-minute date, coffee date. It could be a 2-hour movie. But you got to set aside time when it's just the two of you connecting. Just the two of you. And so I asked her in the inbox, how often does that happen? And she said, almost never. With us juggling these jobs and juggling these side hustles. And so my question to her, and is to you, if you have the greatest love in your life, which I think you'd be fortunate to have, you're blessed if you have a spouse or a mate who loves you, seriously loves you, madly loves you, intimately loves you, is committed to you. Why in the world are you hustling and working for a better existence and never enjoying that spouse? Never enjoying your person? You must set aside time from the hustle. I know you're winning the world. You're getting all of the money. You're getting the bag. You're building the dream home. You're building the dream. You're building the business. And you should do all of those things, but not at the expense of the person you say is the best thing that ever happened to you. You've got to get back connected to that, especially if things are slowing down. Setting aside that time opens up and warms up the heart of that individual, even if quality time isn't their number one like it is mine. Because it says to them, you're important. This relationship matters. And in that, have the conversations about how we make this as spontaneous as possible, if that's important to you, because that's not important to everybody, but it might be important, and how we make this consistent. That means you do have to make other sacrifices in your life. If you have both are working outside of the home, you have children, they have homework, they have extracurricular activities, you have a side hustle, you selling Mary Kay, or you got a business on the side, you're a day trader on the side, whatever it is, you're going to have to make some adjustments so that you connect in quality time without the kids. I want to hear from you if any of that is making sense to you, because life's logistics say just keep going. But you got to navigate life a little bit differently to say, now where are we going? And are we going together? Life's logistics will have you shipping to an address where no one is home. You got to ask yourself, when I get to where I'm going, who's going to be there? Who do I want to be there? And what do I want to experience once I arrive? You have to put love in life's logistics and make sure that every stop that you drop a package or pick one up, that there is intentionality around the people you love and the relationships that you intend to water and to grow. Okay, so that's number 2. Make some time without those kids. You remember how you got those kids, don't you? So make some of that time. Okay? And it doesn't have to be just to do that. It could just be connection, companionship. Could be emotional intimacy. But you've got to set aside that time. Number 3, spice it up with surprises. And this one I love because you can do surprises without them being gifts. So let's say your partner's love language is not gifts. A surprise doesn't have to be here, baby. A surprise could be, we're going here, baby. Quality time, just me and you, me and my boo. surprise. Surprise could be affirmations throughout the house or in her favorite room or where she's studying. She's in school again and she's studying. You got affirmations at her desk. You send her a card with affirmations in them. You call her and say, "You go, baby. You make me so proud. I'm so proud to be your husband. You're brilliant. You're amazing. You can do this. You're almost there." Out of the blue, unplanned, unrehearsed, those surprises in his or her love language can help to ignite and spark some amazing things. I want you to think like Aria saying, so true. I want to hear from you. Drop in the comments. Is that so true? And what advice, what words would you give to a couple who feels like there's a slowdown on one side? Of course, it's nuanced because a slowdown could be a signal of a number of things. It could be a signal of infidelity. She was certainly asking herself, is that a possibility? I said, well, it is. I said, what is encouraging to me is that she wrote that he never turns her down. He doesn't initiate anymore, but he never turns her down, and it's pleasing to her. And so that's a good sign. Of course, there are men out there who have a large libido and they could lay it at home and lay it somewhere else, right? They could just be the plumber everywhere, right? But it's a good sign that he is still attracted to her. He is just not initiating it. And there could be other nuanced things which come out of the conversation of reaffirming that you find out about your spouse. Well, we're going to take a quick break. I want to make sure that you know that you can get Love and Stuff merchandise. It is always available. And we love the brand we wear. We wear the brand because we live it. What you wear says something about you, about who you are, what you believe, and what you stand for. So here in the Love and Stuff community, we wear the brand that we live, and we live the brand that we wear because we love the brand. It's all about increasing the amount of love in the world and upping our love game. And if that's what you're about, you should wear it too. If you're about loving the brand that you wear and wearing the brand you love, you will love our brand. And you can go to our Shopify store. We have tons of good things there for you to enjoy. My Love is front and center. Sweatshirt is available there. This is in a blue. It comes in just about every color and size. You can get any of our products there, as well as the Sports Talk hoodie. We love the fellas that love sports. This network of love is all about things we love and people we love. And Kamal Williams and Felix Holmes are doing a yeoman's job with their show on Saturdays at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And they have the Sports Talk hoodie. You're getting into the fall. If you feel a little chilly, this will warm you up, and you can get your cuddle on with your partner as well. A number of different things that we have. We have the unisex cotton tee that's available in multiple colors. It's available there. The crew neck shirt we have available in just about every color. Sweatshirt. We have a unisex tie-dye sweatshirt that was popular for a season there. Ceramic mugs. Our classic t-shirt, which is the Love and Stuff flagship t-shirt, is available. Our Gratefulness Journey t-shirts, sweatshirts, and all of that apparel is available as well. Our Love Over Racism tee with our love for the love of justice call to action that we'll be talking more about as we get close to the election. Our Love is Front and Center t-shirt is there. All of these are products that are available for you. And we hope that you will consider them. All right. Just had to put that out there as we take a look at all of those wonderful things. Okay, let me go back. All right, fantastic. Nicole had a comment. She says, sometimes people need to remember somebody out there will be glad to initiate. Stop taking people for granted. That's all. Well, I think you said something mighty good, and thank those of you that are clicking on the links. I appreciate it. Check out the merch. All right. So Nicole raises a good point. And as I think about Nicole, this point that you're raising, I think we all would do ourselves justice to find out the love language of the person that we're interested in. Because most of us, I'm telling you, most of us operate. I hear you, Nicole. Most of us operate in our love language, in our lane. And unfortunately, we see everybody else that same way. So if we are a person that desires physical touch, we might reach out to touch someone, and that person might not be a person who's into physical touch. And so we feel rejected, right? But what they're really telling us is, I'm not into what you're into, right? That's not my love language. Instead, you find out that person's love language through conversation. You might not walk up and say, what's your love language? You might walk up, which is the next thing, compliment and affirmations. You might walk up and say, hey, beautiful. And she shifts and spreads her chest bone and smiles and touches her hair. Who, me? Her words of affirmation, compliments, positive talk might be hers, right? Ladies, you walk up to him and say, oh, you look so good. Who cuts your hair? Oh, and you smell so good. Oh, you're so handsome. What? Just a little cut. I got this cut last week. Right, fellas? That might be his love language. Or if you're standing next to him in church and you say, do you mind praying with me? And you hold his hand and he squeezed that hand tight. Physical touch might be his love language. I'm not saying don't get me in trouble with y'all bishops because you went in church and held some man's hand. I'm just saying. You have to find out the love language of the other person and then begin to speak it. And so that's number 4, compliments and affirmations. When things are slowing down, don't laugh at me, Nicole. When things are slowing down in your relationship and you have checked the boxes to see it's not medical, it's not physiological or something that needs to be checked out by a doctor or a therapist, it's not just us aging, it's some change in our love language, then you got to start speaking differently in that love language. And it could be you're warming them up by saying, not, oh, baby, you look good. You could be saying, I just admire the way you father our children. You are a man's man to our son. I know when our son gets older, he is going to be an incredible father and husband because of you. And he's like, oh, yeah, babe. Yeah. I love the way you teach him how to be a man. I love the way you're teaching him about finances. I love the way you're teaching him about being responsible. Those are words of affirmations. Those are compliments. I love the way you love our daughter, though you spoil her. I love that you love her because she is going to expect a man to treat her at a certain level. And baby, I can't thank you enough for what you are to this family. You're reigniting to saying to him, you matter. And I'm trying to cover the basis, not forced, not contrived. I'm covering the basis because I want to reconnect with you in the way that we used to. Baby, look at us. We got these beautiful kids. Remember when it was just me and you? And now look what God has done with us. I'm trying to reconnect through compliments and affirmations. It might not be his primary language, but it is a way to reconnect, to reaffirm to him that I see you. I see what you're doing. I acknowledge it and it's important and I value it and I'm telling you it. Okay. That's number 4. And then number 5 is reconnect through vulnerability. And I know even in marriages, that's sometimes hard because it might be hard to say, baby, I'm losing some attraction because when I want to initiate, you're not prepared. I had a conversation with a longtime buddy the other day. He was telling me about a situation, and I did tell him I was going to share this, not share who he is. So I know he will see this and be like, "What you?" He was in a situation where he started dating a coworker, and although the coworker, there were several red flags. I'm shaking my head to the Love and Stuff community because you know what I'm telling you. There were several red flags. She was living with another man when they met, another man who was not her husband. And that other man was living with her because his wife had put him out. And she ended up getting with my old buddy, and he ended up allowing her to move into his home and rent out her home so that she could pay off her bills and debt. What a great guy. Some might say, what a sucker. Some people might say that. I say, what a great guy. He decided to help her, and he noticed that she wasn't a person that liked to do things around the house, which was a part of the agreement. She wasn't paying bills. She was living there rent free, grocery free, utility free, and renting her place out. But she was not keeping up the house or keeping up herself. When she came home from work, she just plopped down on the couch, uh, didn't take a shower, didn't go to the bathroom. And so their romance, which early on, he's older than her, early on it was on and popping. But it got to a place where he was like, her hygiene is horrible and she wants to be intimate. He said, I just couldn't bring it myself to telling her, wash your tail. We'll use that, the clean version. He said, but then it dawned on me. I'm doing all of these things in the relationship and I'm not getting out of the relationship what I desire. I need to tell her. I need to be vulnerable and tell her I'm turned off. It is off-putting to me to come home to a house that's unclean and a person that's unclean who wants me to make love to them. It's a risk. It's a chance because a lot of men will withdraw, shut down, be argumentative, be stressed when they simply want to be vulnerable to you or vulnerable with you. And that can be difficult for a man to say, the reason why I'm less intimate is. It can be difficult, fellas, for a woman to say, the reason why I have less desire is. So you have to always foster and create an environment where you're asking questions. When you are intimate, saying, does that still satisfy you? How could I make it even better? How can I do it even differently? What would add spice to it? What would make it just everything you ever wanted it to be? You must communicate, but you've got to create an environment where the other person feels safe enough to tell you everything and anything. And that typically doesn't come in just one time, but it does come in a series of things. I've noticed you don't kiss me like you used to. What can I do differently? I can handle it. Tell me. Well, you can brush your teeth more. What's different? Well, you've gained weight and that's not as attractive to me. It might not be it might seem shallow, but if that's the truth, you've got to be able to share that truth. I don't like to get down in an unclean bed house with an unclean person. You got to create an environment where you can be vulnerable and reconnect. So remember at the time when we could do anything together? What do we need to do to get back there? And then listen and be open, even when it doesn't feel good always to hear the answers. Sometimes it may be it's just not as good as it used to be. And that could bruise your ego depending on how you take it. But you could take it to say, okay, now I'm feeling challenged. I feel the rise, pun intended or not. I feel ignited to try to do better, to try to make it more pleasurable, more meaningful. And you've got to have the vulnerability where it isn't judgment, it's observation. This is what I used to experience when we did this, and this is what it is now. So that you are able to reconnect with each other. You got to open up. You got to open up. It's risky. It's risky. But love is worth the risk. If you've had a relationship that you highly valued for whatever the reason, intimacy, companionship, connection, the building of your family, the building of your empire, the building of a partnership, it's worth risking an uncomfortable, awkward space than to live in disconnection. And before most people get to divorce, they live in disconnection. That doesn't have to be your reality. Just like this woman from the inbox, you can acknowledge when the fire seems to be going out or the spark seems to be dimming and take at least these 5 steps of action to get yourself back on track. We're going to be returning back to the election, the road to the election, because we just are a few days away from it. And our first 2 parts of the series talked about the candidates and talked about why the stakes are so high in this election. Next week, we're going to be talking about Project 2025. So I hope that you will tune in, because we're not just upping our love game in relationships, we're upping our love game in the community of relationships, because you and I have a responsibility to stand up for the love of justice. And justice and democracy are on the ballot. And you and I should know a little bit more about this Project 2025. So we'll bring back a panel to discuss that next week. And then we will pivot again and have some couples on who are going to talk with us, our version of Black love. Some older couples or couples who've been around longer are going to talk to some younger couples. And hopefully the insights that you will glean from that will help you with your relationship and your relationship journey. While each journey is unique, hopefully there are themes and perspectives that will inform how you take your journey. So stay tuned to the Love and Stuff community and go and click the notification bell so that you can be notified when the events happen. But you can guarantee that these events I'm talking about happen on Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're gearing up, getting towards Sweetest Day, which we know isn't celebrated everywhere. But listen, we wanted to take an opportunity to have our own version of Pop the Balloon. I don't know if you've been watching that on YouTube and other places. We'll have our own version live of Pop the Balloon. And if you're interested in being part of that, go to the inbox at the Love and Stuff page or the Marcus Our Homes page and say, I'm ready to be a part of Pop the Balloon. I think you're going to enjoy that. It's going to happen Sweetest Day weekend, and I'm looking forward to it. In the meantime, don't forget, we got 2 fellas who love sports, and they're so committed to their show on Saturday. I'm so proud of the work that they're doing. And I think this Saturday they will be live together in person. So you don't want to miss that. Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix also has its own group. But Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix is where people who love sports or people who love sports ought to be. So ladies, maybe you don't love sports so much, but you love someone that does. You want to get the education so that you will know what to do in the 3rd quarter when it's coming down to the wire. And you'll know what to do at halftime for entertainment and everything in between. These fellas talk about women in sports and the different things that are happening, exciting things happening in the WNBA, as well as The Tigers rally to get to the wild card, and football, anyone, and everything in between. It's Sports Talk with Kamal and Felix right here on the Love and Stuff community page and on Sports Talk, the Inside of Sports Talk group, which is available for you to join right now. Speaking of groups, I want to invite you to the opportunity to join Inside of Love and Stuff. It's a group of about 90 folks who are in the Love and Stuff community who are intentional about their self-care and taking self-care to the next level. And so we'd love to have you join the group. There's that link right there at the top. If you scan that QR code, it'll take you to Inside Love and Stuff. It's going to ask you a few questions, and then you get to meet some amazing people who are on a self-care journey. We believe that self-care is simply your love and your gratefulness speaking to your worthiness. Do you know you're worthy to take care of your temple? You're worthy to take care of your body. Whatever has happened in your life, whether you haven't taken good care of it or someone else has abused it or led you to trauma, now is the time for you to come into the awareness that you are worthy. You are worthy of the best life and the best care for yourself. And listen, if you improve your self-care, you will improve the care that you give to those that you love. So join us on the journey by clicking that link and scanning that QR code rather, and joining Inside Love and Stuff. Well, it's 9:35. I'm 5 minutes beyond where I should be, and I'm trying to keep to my hour. But I am excited always to be here. And whether you're watching us on YouTube events, Twitch TV, Instagram, here live on Facebook or Twitter, I hope you will click, share, and tag someone so we can keep the conversation going, so that this 43-year-old woman, when she listens to this, if she's not listening now, that she will get some insights of the things that she can do in her relationship to make a difference. We just don't want to talk about topics for the sake of them. We want to provide inspiration and information for people to make a decision about how they will up their love game. And this could be you. You might be in a relationship that is starving because there is no communication, or there isn't intimacy, or there isn't connection. If you recognize that, ask yourself, what am I prepared to do about it? Don't allow your relationship to drift into the abyss. Get in tune with your partner, get in tune with his or her love language, and take it to the next level. I'm Marcus Holmes, the love activist. I am advocating for better love for us all. And everybody isn't seeking the same kind of love, right? Some of you want to have a better love with your parents. You want to improve your relationship. Some of you need to improve your relationship with your children. I was talking to someone earlier who said, I'm not even talking to one of my siblings. I couldn't imagine it because I've lost 3 of my 4. And so I can't imagine that being the reality. But sometimes you don't imagine it until you don't have it, right? But she was saying, I'm not speaking to him this and so, this and so. She needs to up her love game. She needs to find out his love language, and she needs to work to repair that breach that's happened, that break in the relationship, because you can never get the time back once it's gone. And once someone leaves this earth school, you'll never be able to get that time back. You might want to improve your work relationships. You got some coworkers that you love, they're like friends, but you have these rifts, or you have this gossip situation that happens, and it makes you all go in different directions. You might want to improve the quality of the relationship you have with your boss, with your clients, with your customers. You may want to improve the relationship you have with that new person in your life. And you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the red flags, so that you are bringing to a relationship that's built on integrity all the love that it can withstand, it can sustain. Whatever your situation is, whatever your desire is for love, I'm advocating for you to have the tools and resources and the quintessential love, who is God, to help you navigate the kind of love that you want, so that you can love more in 2024. I'm excited to be here, and I'm thanking you for being here with me. I hope you will click, share, and tag someone to join us. as we will continue to go down this path of love until you get to the place where you've given all the love and receiving all the love and filled up in doing so. Have a grateful evening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.